Bob. He was an extremely wealthy widower, and he showed up at the country club one day, and he had this gorgeous girl hanging on his arm, and all of his friends couldn't understand it. So, wow, she's like 22, 23 years old, and she's just knock 'em dead gorgeous. Now what? How did this happen, Bob? They waited until she went to powder her nose, and they came running over and said, "Hey, what's going on with this girlfriend?" He said, "Actually, she's my wife." "Your wife? You married her?" And, "Yes, I should say she married you." "I mean, what did you do? Lie about your age and tell her you're 50? He said, "I did lie about my age. I told her I was 90. Just saying. Now, let me tell you about knife murders. We go from a joke to knife murders. How does that work for you? Hey, in the UK, the police there is saying, turn your knives in because we got all your guns now and you're still doing bad things. You're even eating and you're buttering bread without telling us. So give us your knives." This is true. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's going on. They're attempting now to take knives away from anybody that has a knife with a sharp tip. And they're coming out with restrictions. It can only be this long and that wide and this sharp. I mean, this is totally bizarre. It just, wow, they have an amnesty now for pointed knives, and more than 64.1 million people live in the UK, and probably they have knives laying around. Do you think? I mean, but they're potential criminals now, and they're actually getting their doors knocked on by bobbies, by the police, who are saying, "Show us your knives, take us into your kitchen." I mean, incidentally, the knife violence in the UK is about double the rate of gun violence in the US. How can that be? I know, that's because they've already taken the guns away, and now all that's left is knives. Take the knives away and they'll get ropes and they'll start choking people. Bad people do bad things. Will anybody ever figure it out? I'm just wondering. Let me tell you about Greece. Why are they in trouble? Hey, maybe this will help you out. The massive retirements at age 50 are just killing the system, and a lot of guys retire at 30, 35, and 40. You get paid to paint pictures and put them in the basement. You get paid for all kinds of silly things. And Greece has the highest population in the world of people at 110 years old or of 110 years old and older. Really? I mean, there's thousands of them. That's because they don't die, I guess, and they keep getting their checks. I mean, do you think? I mean, the pensions continue to come in the mail, and some families receive up to 6 pensions that they're not supposed to get because they got 6 people that have been dead for 20 and 30 years, family members, and of course they still report them as living, and everybody could figure that out, but of course it's easier just to pay the money when you're a commie. Pensions are paid to people who died in 1953, 50 years ago, 50 plus. 40,000 girls receive monthly pensions of €1,000 for the simple fact that they're unmarried daughters of dead civil servants. I mean, again, you can't make this stuff up. The pacemakers in Greek hospitals were acquired at a price of 400 times higher than the ones in hospitals in England. And early retirement is 55 now in most places for men. And if you have one of the 600 job categories that are identified as painful, you get to retire much earlier than that, down as low as 30 years of age. And that list would include hairdressers, because of course there's all kinds of poison in the product that you're using. Musicians, because of wind-blowing instruments. I mean, it's exhausting. TV presenters, microphones cause damage to your health. And that particular law was adopted by the socialist government in 1978. There's all kinds of tricks and unnecessary institutions for many Greeks live off of that. For example, the Institute for the Protection of Kopalis Lake. It's a lake that's been dry since 1930. I mean, and the tax evasion is massive. More than half, it's estimated, of Greeks don't pay taxes, and Greek pensioners receive 96% of their salary. Greece has 4 times more teachers than Finland, and Finland happens to be the best educated country in the world, and the performance in the schools in Greece is the lowest, and they have 4 times. I mean, there's a long list here. I could go on and on, but I think you get it. Do you get it? What I'm really telling you is that left-wing ism, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. When you take away the motivation from people, you end up like the Greeks. Hey, y'all come back here tomorrow and let's talk more about the right stuff. See ya.